This fire proves that there is definitely a threat to public health and safety. Now, we're just revealing this, but when we did a legislative tour a year ago in May of 2007, hosted by the Army, we went to the Pinon Canyon Maneuver Site Base, very fine facilities there, did an orientation, and with the permission of the Army, we asked if we could take soil samples. There were local people along that had lived in that area, people whose land was taken away from them in 1982 when they took the first 235,000 acres. Traveling through there, every place we stopped, we went out and took soil samples. Those were sent to an independent laboratory. The results are double, more than double, what the Colorado Department of Health has told the Cotter Corporation they have to remove the soil and clean up at the uranium mill in Canyon City. Anytime you have contamination in soil, it's going to be taken up into plants. Plants do take up uranium. They take up contamination, and when that burns, then of course that goes into the air. And if you're familiar with that area, whenever the wind is blowing, there is dust coming up out of that area. So if the ground is uncovered, there is going to be possibility of contamination being spread. Of course, that would disperse and make it less. We really don't know a lot of that. That's what we're doing, is we want the answers as to what's happening. We want answers as to what the fire management plan is. How do you hope to contain this fire? Because anytime you got vegetation this tall and it's thistles, you know that is going to burn.
Let me be clear what you're saying. You're saying that the plants could have taken up the uranium, and then when they burn, it would release with the smoke into the air.
Yes, contaminations can be taken up by plants.
Ultimately, this you are against the Pinon Canyon nuclear expansion, correct?
Yes.
Is this just the first salvo to stop expansion? In other words, questions about uranium, questions about the fire mean more questions, perhaps. Do we need to have a larger Pinon Canyon maneuver site?
I would say it's proof that they can't take care of what they got. It's not questions about whether they need it. This is just proof that they're not managing what they have got down there now. That full report will be on the Rocky Mountain Peace and Justice Center website. That's already.
When is that going to be?
2 o'clock today. All of that information will be.
And okay, I'll have the name of the lab there.
Yes, all that will be on there.
You said that the Army doesn't think it has to follow the rules. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Well, when you have a fire started on your ranch and it's going to endanger everybody else's ranch, you can't tell the fire district, you can't come in and put my fire out. They're going to be there and put it out because they're to protect. And the Army's under that, should be under that same rule.
The Fort Carson has said that this is started by lightning. Why do you have reason to believe that that is not true? Or do you have reason to believe that is not true?
Well, it said it was started by lightning. They said it started on Tuesday. They said it started on Monday. There was no clouds. There was no lightning Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday. And the local rumor is that it was a control burn that got out of control. And it's not that I don't believe them. There's just so many stories after we have a stack of news clippings that give different times, different dates, and different reasons. We want to know the answers.
What prompted you to do this investigation initially with the uranium testing?
Because of my Rocky Flats background.
Go ahead, if you would elaborate on that. Just
Well,
there must have been a moment in your life where you just thought, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to get the ball rolling. And give us a little background on that.
all kinds of stories about trucks going on to the Pinon Canyon Maneuver Site back when this was put in 1982 or 93. There's local people telling stories about, we've seen all these trucks coming in, and they, one of the Army guys said, well, that's not Army trucks hauling armament, that's hazardous materials. And we got stories about the windmills having high contamination, the water of plutonium, measured plutonium. One guy was out there doing some work, went over to a windmill. One of the soldiers says, don't drink that water, you glow in the dark. Those are undocumented stories. I don't know where they came from. But because of that, because of what I found out on the Rocky Flats grand jury, I had reason to believe that there could have been contamination. And one of the Army guys, Colonel Johnson, was in the office. We were talking about leasing. And he said that's really not an option because of the cleanup that would involve after Army activities.
If there is that much uranium that needs to be cleaned up, the who cleans it up, who pays for it, and how much is it gonna cost?
It's gonna cost quite a bit, and you don't clean it up. I mean, how you gonna take 240,000 acres and take it out? What you do is you isolate the danger, and you don't expose people to that.
How big a danger do you believe this to be as far as acreages, just from your initial and preliminary testing?
Well, our test was very consistent, and that was spread out at least over about a 20-mile section. Now, the Pinon Canyon maneuver site expands about 30 miles, somewhere between 10 miles wide to 30 miles long. And we did cover two-thirds of that. Took about 7-8 samples. Just whenever we stopped, we'd do it. The amazing thing is they were so consistent. Here's a fact. Public safety and health has been in danger. That's the bottom line.